Alright, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. I've started writing Java programs in conjunction with the PowerPoint presentations I've already done for the Gaddis Java text. And I went through the example that they show of creating a simple Hello World project. But now it's time to get down to business. So I'm going to do a file, new Java project, and the project name will be Chapter01-Payroll. Not the greatest name, but it'll work. Chapter01-Payroll. Notice it's putting it into my default area. Now, you can click Next, but it just shows you that it's created the new thing here, so I just go right to Finish. And there's my Chapter01 Payroll. Now I can right mouse click on here, go to New, Class, and we'll call this the same thing. Why don't we just call it Payroll? All right. And we'll create a main also. And that's all I have to change here, so I'm going to click Finish. And there's my payroll. Now, there's probably a way that I can increase the size of my font here. I don't remember how to do it, though. Project Properties. Java Editor. Nope. Code Style. Nope. Window preferences, maybe? Java? Editor? I don't know. It's not templates, I know that. Hover is marked, installed. It might be under General, too. I don't know. Appearance, colors, and fonts. That looks promising. And that doesn't. Let's compare. I don't even know what that stuff is. I know that I'm very close. Well, like I said, it's in here someplace. In fact, now it's going to bug me. So I'm going to go over to here. How to change font size in Eclipse. Preferences, general, appearance, fonts, and colors. Preferences, general, appearance, colors and fonts, okay. Expand the basic folder and select text font. And you'll notice right now it's Consolis, it looks like. 10 points. So I'm going to click Edit. I like to choose Arial because I think it presents well. You may or may not agree with that. And I'll check like 14 point, which should be plenty big. Okay. All right. Maybe that doesn't look that good. All right. But I think for now it's at least better than it was. So, as I always do, I'm going to start up like this. And I think it's possible for you to go in and set up some kind of a template like this, but I don't know. I've never really been that interested in finding out. To me, this is just a short little interlude that I just put in. All right, and I'm going to remove that. I like to, at the top of my program, to put in some kind of a program header. All right, so I'm going to put in here a first payroll program demonstrating some of the concepts shown in Chapter 1 of our Gaddis Java textbook. That's more than fine. All right, so I'm going to come in here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create some variables. All right, so these are actually class variables. Since everything is created in main, and there's only one main, okay, so string, first name, and I'm going to hard code values in here, equals Jeff. We're going to say here employee first name, string last name equal Scott. Oops. Employee, sorry, that's the one that I just did for the Hello World example. So that'll be the employee last name. We'll have a double called hours, which will set equal to 0, and that will be employee hours worked. Another double that we'll call rate, which will also set equal to 0, and that's employee pay rate. And one more double, which we'll call gross, which will again set equal to 0, and that will be employee gross pay, which will be hours times rate. Now, a couple things about this. What you'll see a lot from some programmers is here, since they'll put a 0.0 there. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to not do it also. All right, but they're saying since it's a double, you're showing that it can have a decimal place. Totally fine. All right, doesn't make the program run any better, doesn't make it run any worse. You'll notice I'm a little anal about at least trying to line things up. Doesn't make the program run any better, doesn't make the program run any worse. So I've got these little yellow things here, which are warnings that I've created 5 variables that I'm no longer using. Well, notice now, as soon as I say calculate gross pay, and I say gross pay, or gross, equal hours times rate. Now, as soon as I hit enter, notice that all of them go away, because, I should say 2 of them go away, because they're being used on the right-hand side of an equal sign. All right. Now, one more comment in here, which will say display all inputs and outputs. So I want to display the first name, the last name, the hours, the rate, and that calculated gross. All right, let me move this down just a bit. And I'm going to have a series of system.out.print lines. And you can see here that the IntelliSense that is available in Eclipse is kicking in. And I'm just going to put it like that for right now, because I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 print line statements. Again, I didn't have to do that. Doesn't make the program run any faster, but it's a little better for me. So first name, the string concatenation character there is the plus sign, and I say here first name. There, I don't have to use a toString method when I'm attaching non-strings either. So last name plus last name, hours worked plus hours, hourly rate, plus rate. Again, I'm going to line this stuff up because I'm a little anal about that. You do not have to do that. Gross pay. And I am going to add a $sign there. Later we'll find out how to set that stuff up so it's automatically formatted for a $sign. Gross. And please notice now that none of these have the yellow thing there anymore. All right. And notice here I've got an error because I put an extra semicolon inside of that comma. All right, so finally I'll put in here, let's put in a couple blank spaces, so \n, and we'll say end of program run, and another couple of blank spaces. So what do we have in here? Just take it from the top. About a 30-line program, a little less, with some comments at the top that say a first payroll program demonstrating some of the concepts shown in Chapter 1 of our Gaddis Java textbook. Now, if I didn't want these to be, this is a multi-line comment. I could have put a double / instead in front of any lines, and it would have done the same thing. This is my class header. It's the word public. Since I've called that class payroll, this must be payroll. It's a class, all right. Remember that Java is a block-structured language, so there's the beginning of the payroll block. There's the end of the payroll block, all right. And for now, we're going to put all of our code inside of this main method. It's also public. It's static, meaning there's one of them. It returns nothing, which is the void. Its name is main. We don't pass anything in, but if we did, it'd be passed into what's called a string array called args. Again, block structured, so there's the beginning of main, there's the end of main. Then we create our class variables. Since we didn't put public there or private there or protected there, they get a very special word, which is basically package. We'll talk about that in a later chapter. Every time we run this program, that's the first name, that's the last name. In fact, hours, I don't want that to be 0. I want that to be 40. And pay rate, I don't want that to be 0. I want that to be 10. All right? So every time we run this program, it should have Jeff for the first name, Scott for the last name, 40 for the hours worked, 10 for the hourly rate, and 40 times 10, or 400 for the gross. So we figure out the gross right there. So we declare, how about instead of this? Declare and initialize class variables. So we're doing that here. Calculate the gross pay. We could have said right here double gross equal hours times rate, but I just decided to pull it down so I could have a comment there. Display all inputs and outputs. So this should display first name with a space and then add Jeff. This, since it's a print line, on the next line should say last name space Scott. Hours work space 40. Hourly rate space 10. Gross pay space $400, and then the program run. I could also put, if I wanted to, I guess, a $sign here as well. All right, so let's, even though it saves for me automatically, I like to always do a save all. And this time let's do a run there. Now if it worked, when I come down to my output window, there's my information. First name Jeff, last name Scott. Hours worked 40.0, hourly rate 10.0, gross pay 400.0, and the program run. Now, don't worry that it's 1 decimal place instead of 2. It's fine. We're going to fix that in a later chapter. What I'd like you to concentrate on right now is what's going on in the program. And you may have noticed that, but if I take my mouse and I put it over some of this stuff, well, some of the stuff, it's going to, well, I don't know where I put it there. There is IntelliSense that's in here. Not that's kicking in now, but there is IntelliSense. You'll see it later on as we go. But hopefully you got comment, class header, method header, declare your variables. Again, the bad thing is if I run the program again, if I run it again, it's not going to look any different. So let's clear this area here. This is my console, and one of these buttons here says clear console. So it's gone. If I run it again, notice I get the same exact stuff. Every time I run this, I'm going to get that same output. I don't want that, so in the next program example, I'm going to start with, I'm not actually even going to start with something new. I'll just start with all of this. Copy that to the clipboard. Let me get rid of that. I don't like that being highlighted. There we go. Copy that to the clipboard, and I'll be ready to start the next example. So I'll tell you what, let's do that, and that's how we'll end up each one that we're working on. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to create two different programs for Chapter 2. One which uses the scanner, and it will almost look as though we have done something from a command line, and one that will use the input dialog and the message dialog. So let's do a file, new Java project, and we'll call this one Chapter 02A Payroll. Click Finish. There's that one. File, new, class. We'll again call it Payroll, and that's okay to have the same name. It's in a different folder. We'll again create a main, and we'll click Finish. So I'm going to again, you can kind of see how I start up. In fact, I don't even need this, because I can paste that in. All right. So this will be a second payroll program from Chapter 2, of our Gaddis book. I'm going to stop right here, because I'm going to go in and start making changes to this program in just a minute.